I don't think today many people are going to join. After 1 more minute, we will start.
Okay, sir, we will wait, sir.
Hello, Sandeep. Were you there in the last class?
Hello, hi, sir.
Yeah, Doljit, I know you. You were there. I am asking Sandeep whether he was there in the last class or not.
Yes, sir. I was in the last class, sir.
I know you were there. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So I think we can start. I'll share my screen and I'll record the screen with your permission. Okay. Hmm. It's opening. Okay. Hope my screen is visible and I am loud and clear.
Yes, sir. Perfectly fine, sir.
Yeah.
And screen is visible, sir.
So what is yeah.
I don't know, sir, what happened today. No one is joined. I don't know, mail.
Actually, it happens. Actually, in the first class, many people joins, and then one or two, like that it goes. In my
But
last
really,
two,
sir, that session was very informative, sir. I don't know, but maybe 50% reduce.
not because of that thing. I mean, I think they are getting the slides and recordings right. If they wouldn't have get, then they might have joined. So that may be the reason. But yes, we always encourage live interactive session, because there are sometimes some doubts are there. It is also a learning experience for us also. Sometimes what
Yes, sir.
happens that some people ask some question, and maybe it is not there in the slide, and we get a new point to discuss in our next session, like that way. And in this way things gets followed. So it is always encourageable for everyone to join the live session. But yes, it happens. I have seen in my last two classes also.
Okay.
But yeah, the people who are interested, they actually tend to stay at the end.
No, sir, actually, it was a very good platform. Even I have joined 2, 3 more sessions as well. INIT Patna is also doing this
Hmm.
STC courses also.
Oh,
So it's very good कि काम करते करते वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल्स के लिए तो बहुत अच्छा प्लेटफॉर्म है. We are
yeah.
मतलब एक इंटरेक्टिव सेशंस होते हैं, नॉलेज एनहांसमेंट, मतलब इट्स वेरी गुड प्लेटफॉर्म.
It's kind of that I feel for UG level people, these things are informative, and but for
डेफिनेटली.
working professional, I believe this is just a refreshing kind of thing. They have forgot the basics and all. They are just refreshing. I feel that way, because see, I mean, while working,
एक्चुअली
you
सर,
need to,
सर
yeah.
एक्चुअली फ्रैंकली स्पीकिंग समटाइम्स सिचुएशन इज लाइक दैट कि हमें लगता है कि यार हमको, अब मैंने 2014 में आर्किटेक्चर किया था, मैं मास्टर्स कर रहा हूँ,
Hmm.
एवरीथिंग आई नो अर्बन
Hmm.
प्लानिंग. जब लेकिन क्लासेस लेते हैं, सेशंस लेते हैं ना, देन
Hmm.
एक्चुअली केम टू नो, अरे यार अच्छा इतना डीप ये ऐसा ऐसा है. क्योंकि जब तक एक मैदान में उतरेंगे नहीं, समुद्र में डाइविंग नहीं करेंगे, तब तक
Correct.
पता नहीं लगता उसकी गहराई कितनी है.
ऐसा होता है. But when I worked, actually, I was in the industry. I felt that way, that industry people have to keep in mind in many things. I mean, it is a cross-cultural thing. You don't, if you are only from chemical engineering background or any maybe civil engineering background, but there you are working in a field, so you have to knowledge. You must have the knowledge in a very holistic way. You have to, you should have knowledge from some electrical engineering, some this and that. In this way.
एंड वन मेजर रीजन इज ऑल्सो हेयर सर, हमें क्या लगता है कि चल यार इलेक्ट्रिकल वाले का काम है, चल वो देखेगा अपने आप. हम
Hmm.
लोग ना ज्यादा उस डिसिप्लिन में अंदर एंटर नहीं करना चाहते. एक्चुअली वी आर लिमिटेड टू अवर आर्किटेक्चर कोर ओनली,
Yes, yes.
बट दैट इज वेरी रॉन्ग थिंग.
Yes, definitely, because it was basically a game which we are playing since decades maybe. But now in the 21st century ऐसा हो गया है कि मतलब कोई अलग ब्रांच लेके मैं सिंगल इसी में चलूंगा फील्ड में, ऐसा हो नहीं सकता, because research is becoming multidisciplinary day by day. Also research and also industry
यस.
both. If someone wants to automate the entire process based on internet of things, based on the industry 4.5, whatever, I don't know, but people have to must have knowledge from various other fields in a very holistic way.
यस सर.
So yeah, for those purposes, these courses are very helpful, because these are available in the public domain, and any Indian can, Indian, not only Indian, and I think it is also available to globe. Any other people from other country can also avail these courses, I think. And also the Indians generally offer things in a cheaper cost. I was seeing in a just I saw one item which just came up in Amazon, and that was a portable microscope something. So it can be attached with
ओके.
the mobile, and with that way you can. So great innovations basically. So but yeah, so ये जुगाड़ वाला जो चीज होता है, ये इंडियन कर सकते हैं. But
सबसे आगे.
it's a very innovative thing also. I mean, it is a great learning experience for the outer walls. If you have seen the movie, what was the name? Mongoljan and all. So you must have seen that the way ISRO scientists made it very cheaper. I mean, they made the,
दैट स्पेस दैट
yeah.
विल बी फॉर द मंगल थिंग. यस सर.
Yes, yes. So yes, so things. I mean, whatever the Indian people do, they are pretty much motivating for the world at large also. Even with the limited resources, whatever excellence they show, and also in the foreign countries also. Just like one journalist was asking some of the central minister, I don't know what is his name, but the journalist was asking something that, see, the Indians are going outside. Do you feel it a brain drain kind of thing? Or then the minister told, maybe Joy Shankar Shah, I don't know, but he told that uh, yes, it is true that Indians who are Madras Indians, they are going outside, but at the same time we are globalizing. So I mean, so if some Indian want to do something abroad, he or she can utilize the global diaspora, that is global Indian diaspora, that is present outside the India. So in that way, so we also think, we also take things in a very positive way, not only in a physical aspect but also in psychological, mental and spiritual aspects also. But yes, that's the thing that India is uh, developing.
Actually, also in my current company, now, sir, my head office is in Qatar. At the last Olympic Games, FIFA Games,
Hmm.
taken in Qatar.
Hmm.
So my head office is in Qatar, and I'm staying there for 2 3 years last.
Hmm.
So you can imagine almost all the works from the Qatar has been transported to our Indian branch office because of the cheap and easy
Well,
labor kind of.
yes,
When I
yes.
was deputed here, I am getting my salary is here 1.5 lakhs only, and
Okay.
there I am getting 3.5 lakhs per month. So what they do, they will take the work from there and
Hmm.
send it to the India,
Hmm.
so that the cheap output can be submitted at a higher cost. So these kind of things happen here in as well, India.
Okay, so I don't think anyone else is going to join. You can start the session. So welcome everyone. My name is Shutanu Sadhukan. I am a teaching assistant of the NPTEL courses that is being held. So I am basically a PMRF student at the IIT Bombay. I have shared my YouTube channel link and my social media link also, where you can connect me to ask any questions if you have after this session also. You're always welcome. So I welcome you to the second interactive session of the course code AR18, which is named as the Urban Utilities Planning, Water Supply, Sanitation and Drainage, instructed by Dr. Devapratim Pandit, who is a professor at IIT Kharagpur in the Department of Architecture and Regional Planning. Today is August 4th, and we are in the second week. So first week is over, and whatever the lectures and all, so all the recordings are uploaded in this link. If you click on this link, you can get the slides. So there the link will be available. If you want, I can also share in the chat box. I hope you are getting emails where the links are there also. So the slide links are in this Google Drive folder. Feedbacks on the you are getting most probably two feedback links. One is regarding the Dr. Devapratim Pandit's lecture, weekly lecture sessions, and also the feedback on the problem solving session that is occurring. So we actually highly encourage you to give feedbacks so that we can gauge your experience and tailor our delivery sessions accordingly. And also there is a discussion forum in the in your Swayam portal, which you will be able to see. So in this discussion forum, you can ask even if you are unable to watch the recording, and after the recording, unable to watch the live session, and after that you are watching the recording and you come up with certain questions in your mind, then you can always upload that questions in the discussion forum. Okay, so let's start. Today's first problem is, as I told in our earlier session, that problems will be, there will be more problems in subsequent sessions. It was the first session, so that's why mostly MCQs was there, but in this session also MCQ will be there. No worries, only MCQ, fill in the blanks, MSQ, and small problems will be there in the final exam. Also, if you are studying, if you are studying while watching the lectures, and if you are uh, I mean, going through the assignments, solving them well, and also watching the recording and all, recording or going through the slide, whichever you feel comfortable, then I feel it is not a very tough exam. The assignment also and also the final exam is not very difficult to clear. It will be very easy for you to qualify with very good grades. And also, if you have registered for certificate, you will get a certificate for that as per whatever rule is there. So now today's first problem is you have to estimate the fire demand in liters per minute unit for a city with a population of 5 lakhs and average water demand of 250 LPCD. This LPCD means liter per capita per day. Yeah. So this problem you have to solve. You can take your pen and paper with you and you just calculate on there, and so you can use calculator whichever you feel comfortable. So there is a hint in this problem. Do you know? Have you watched the lecture of Dr. Pandit? So there he discussed a formula which is called as the Kuchling's formula to calculate the fire demand. So this formula actually basically you have to use to calculate the fire demand in liters per minute unit. It is not like that every data that is given in the problem it will be utilized for your calculation. It is not like that. Some data may be utilized or all of the data may also be utilized. You have to decide on your own. It's just a memory based question. If you remember the formula and whatever the terminologies of the formula state, then it will be very easy for you to calculate. If you don't remember, tell me. I will tell you the formula. You just do the calculation.
No, sir, actually, better you tell us the formula. I will calculate here,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So the Kuchling's formula is something like this. It is given as fire demand Q equals to 3182 into root under P liters per minute. Now can you calculate? If you are not understanding what is the terminology of the formula, then also we can discuss further. No issue with that. I will wait for maybe 2 minutes more. It's very simple problem. Just you have to remember the formula. That's all. I believe. I mean, whatever questions those will be asked in the final exam, I believe they will be the formula. I mean, they'll not be entirely memory based. I think this kind of formula should be given. You may raise the question in the discussion forum, so our team will answer that whether this kind of formulas will be given or not. But this is very simple thing. So some things it is better to remember. So if you are not understanding what is P, then I will tell
P is the population, sir, I guess.
population in thousands. So whatever the
Okay.
population is there, you have to divide with 1000 to get the value of P.
So the answer here is 85238.
85238. Okay, you can type it in the chat box. I think okay, we'll see. So Shondeep, you are also doing right? You're also trying at least. Okay, so very simple thing.
Yes, sir. Actually, I was in the way. I
Okay, you are in
reached
the
home
road.
just now,
Okay,
so I'll
okay,
be
no
doing
issues,
it.
no issues, no issues. Okay,
Yeah, no, actually, I reached home just now, so I'll be like doing everything from now on. Okay.
okay, no issues. Sensei Santosh, welcome to the session. We just have started. This is the first problem of our today's session. So you are not in a very late. So the value of the fire demand will be this 3182 into root under of 5000, root under of 500 as it is 500,000, so 500 will be the value of the P, which is nothing but 22.36. The answer comes as 71,151.7 liter per minute. I hope maybe Doljit has taken any approximation. Maybe instead of 22, you have taken approximately as
Sir,
23,
actually,
or
if
maybe
I'm
like.
mistaken, I will take 3812. Actually, it should be 3182,
Oh,
na?
yeah,
So
yeah.
that why.
That is okay. I saw your digit. It is a 5 digit and nearer to 7,000, maybe some.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
so
yes.
no issues. Just simple problem. One thing you can see here, the average water demand 250 liter per capita per day. It is not being utilized while calculating the fire demand. Fire demand means what? If there is a city, I mean the city planners who will plan the city, that this should be the fire hydrant design and all. So the fire jockey pumps, the fire hydrant pumps should, this should be their capacity, head, etc. So while designing the fire hydrant system, they have to take into account what may be the fire, what may be the water demand in case of fire hazard is there. So that is called as fire demand. And see, whatever the average water demand of the people, liters per capita per day, that is not taken into account in case of your calculating the fire demand. So it is an independent. The fire demand is independent of the regular water demand. It's a safety emergency kind of thing, and it is independent of the parameter, which is your basically average water demand per capita basis or per head basis of the 5 lakh population. So yeah, if it was in the question, if it was asked that no, what is the normal water demand, then you had to multiply 250 with 5 lakhs. But fire demand formula, you have to remember, this is the Quichling's formula, which is used for calculation of fire demand, where P in the liter per minute unit. If the I mean this P is not directly as population, it is population in thousand. So whatever the population is there, you have to divide it with 1,000 to get the value of the P. Hope it is clear. So now we'll move on to our, somebody else has joined. Oh, Govindu, welcome Govindu. Santosh has left, I think. Yeah, okay. So we'll move on to our next problem. So now we'll see a video in the year of 1854 in Broad Street of the city London. There was a cholera outbreak. So in my last class, I actually showed you a video, but I didn't mention the source. So in this session, that's why I have mentioned this is the YouTube channel from where I have taken it. So now we'll watch it together. If there is any sound problem, you please unmute and tell.
In 1854, cholera struck the city of London. Over 600 people died in just a few weeks. People thought that when there were terrible outbreaks of disease, especially cholera, that it was caused by poisonous air. But John Snow, the physician in London, was convinced that cholera in particular was a waterborne disease.
He was an icon of epidemiology. He was against the flow of the times. What was very interesting about John Snow was the deductive reasoning. He was very much a scientist and he believed in measurement.
As the father of epidemiology, he got on his feet and walked around and started asking where are these illnesses occurring. So he could see patterns. Epidemiologists essentially look for patterns of disease and then make a prediction of the causes or origins of the outbreak.
And right here was the Broad Street pump. And it turned out that most of the people who had fallen ill and who were continuing to fall ill had drunk water from this particular pump. John Snow is often credited with ending the 1854 epidemic by removing the handle from the contaminated Broad Street pump. The full story is much more interesting.
video based on the sanitation aspect of the water. Now we will have couple of questions.
In 1854, cholera.
The slides are not changing or what? Yeah. So your MCQ is, what is the type of the compound that was used by Dr. John Snow to purify the water during the 1854 Broad Street London cholera outbreak? Select the correct option. Option A is oxidizing agent, option B is reducing agent, option C is biological agent, option D is none of the above. So it is just, I mean, if you know that, that's all. So if you don't know, it is okay, no issues. It was not discussed in the weekly class. If some means you know, or if you can just feel that what can be the compound that can be used. It is related to the sanitation aspects. So basically, people are thinking that the disease has spread because of the air. But what Dr. John Snow did, he actually saw that he actually took the map of that particular infected area and saw that what are the patches of the area where the outbreak is more. And then he analyzed the city planning. He dug deep into the archive documents of the municipality, and he found that there, I mean, there is, he actually established the link between the water and the disease. So and eventually, actually, he actually tested the water sample by some agent, which is the question here. And then he found out that what is the source. He took samples from different water samples from different places, and he saw that there was a particular pump from where it is actually spreading. So he just due to administrative difficulties, he faced a lots of problem to stop that pump. So I mean, people would not directly believe him at that time, but he was pretty much sure that this is the main cause for the your cholera outbreak. So what he did, he just removed the handle of the pump, and in this way, actually, whenever the outbreak stopped, then people started believing him. Yes, that was the source. So it is a very funny incident. So yeah, so maybe you don't know the reason. So it is basically an oxidizing agent. So now the next MCQ is, which one of the following compounds was used by Dr. John Snow, which was basically a oxidizing agent, to purifying the water during the Broad Street outbreak? Select the correct. So you have to remember, so it was a cholera. So you know what is the basic oxidizing agent to make the water free of cholera bacteria. So if you know that, you will be able to answer simple. So if it's fluorine, B is chlorine, C is bromine, and D is iodine. Govindu, do you want to say something?
Sir, I guess chlorine.
Chlorine, right? You can type your answer in chat box. Yes, you are correct. So because chlorine is basically treated for the water sanitation purposes, right? Now I will tell you one thing. So there are many things. If you go to one industry, you will see that there are UV treatment is there in the place. Sometimes people treat the water with ozone to disinfect, sometimes with chlorine. So what are the differences between these three things, UV, ozone, and chlorine? I mean, what are the specific cases where the UV is utilized, where the ozone is utilized, where the chlorine is utilized? Can you tell if anyone know? Otherwise, I'll tell, because it is very important from industrial point of view, and also what is the type of the country. It is also important from that point of view also. So these three are basically oxidizing agent. UV is not any chemical. It is, you may say, as a physical oxidation. It damages the DNA material of the microbial organisms. whichever is harmful for our health. So it actually damages the cell membrane, cell wall, and also the DNA material. So in this way, the cell gets ruptured. This is how the and sometimes even if it is not ruptured, if it comes into the tank or product, it will not multiply because of the change of its DNA. So in this way, UV treatment occurs. And ozone treatment, how it occurs? So in the ozone forms free radical, and it is very short-lived, but highly effective than chlorine. But what chlorine does? Chlorine is not as effective as ozone, but chlorine stays in the water for a longer period of time. So chlorine has got higher retention time. So in countries like India, where the population is very high, where municipalities have to supply the water for long distance of time, long long distance, and where what happens that the the pipeline in the meantime, sometimes the pipeline may get damaged and it may completely disintegrate with the sounding. So what will happen if some leakage is there? Water will easily get polluted. So in India, it is very essential to use the chlorine as an oxidizing agent. So even if after the water has left the supply pump of the municipality, whenever it is in the pipelines of the streets before going to the households and all, it is traveling over long distances, the chlorine is still present in the water and it is doing its work. So it is highly important for India, and also it is cheap as compared to ozone. But in you see countries like Finland, Norway, uh, Sweden, Switzerland, Denmark, this North European countries, basically their planning infrastructures are very good. So they use ozone treatment basically because it is very effective and it is short-lived. So if you see the municipality water in your household, some chlorine might still be present there, but if it is ozone, it will ozone is very toxic. So if it is present in the water, it is very harmful. So we are very fortunate that ozone is very short-lived. The half-life of ozone is very short, so it becomes 2O3 to 3O2 very quickly. It's get converted to oxygen. So that's why it is not present in the water for a long time. But it is highly effective. So that's why these countries they use them. And lastly, there comes the UV treatment. So what happens that UV treatment, when it is done, whenever there is a stagnancy or dead zone in the water, if there is a water pipeline, water is flowing through it, and there is a dead zone where the water is getting accumulated by vortex or something, the rest of the portion the water is going, but there is some bending or uh, there is some bulb in the pipeline and some dead zone is there. So there is high chance that water will become stagnant there and form biofilm in the surface of the inner wall of the pipe. So in that case, uh, basically the UV is utilized before and after the dead zone, so that if the water passes through it, uh, whatever the bacteria is coming into the water, so before, why it is before utilized, so that new genetic streams doesn't come into the dead zone to populate the thing. So that's why there is UV before that dead zone region or bending or whatever. If it is very high precision material, if even a chemical plant, people are producing something and it is very high precision, that in this product, this many of colony forming unit CFU bacteria cannot be above this limit. So very strict regulations are there. If it is happened, if it is like that, so like that, in that case, what will happen, that after that dead zone also, there will be one UV treating thing, so that if from that dead zone some bacteria comes into the mainstream, it will get damaged with the help of that UV treatment. So this is the idea for the oxidizing agents for sanitation purposes. Okay, so now we'll move on to our next MCQ. So Nol Se Jol scheme is associated with which one of the following aspects of water supply by the end of this year? So there are basically 4 targets. Option A is provision of clean drinking water by 2024. Option B is international and interstates water disputes resolution by this year. Option C is cleaning of Ganga and its tributaries by 2024, and option D is provision of piped water supply to every household by this year. So which of these 4 points, which one of these 4 points is covered under the Nal Se Jal scheme? Welcome, Reja.
Well, thank you.
So this what screen is not changed. Same screen we are seeing. Nal Se Jal scheme. This screen you are not able to see. Is it happening for others? Okay, just wait. 7. Is it happening for Shondeep and Reja also? Okay. It is visible. Okay. So option D you are telling. Provision of piped water supply to every household. I think you have given it the correct answer only. We will see. So yeah, option D. Provision of piped water supply to every household is the thing that will be done by the end of this year under the scheme. The name actually suggests that only non-sejol water from pipe, right? So now we will see the next question. MCQ. What is the benchmark for the extent of non-revenue water, or which is in short called as NRW, to be maintained as per Mohua GOI? So Mohua GOI full form I know, I think you know, every one of you know. Mohua means Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. GOI means Government of India. That's all. So what is the benchmark? Can you say without any option? Or I'll tell the options. So option A is 20%, option B is 80%, option C is 100%, option D is 90%.
20, I think.
Okay. What about others? Yeah, so it is 20%. You have watched the lecture, so that's why you have answered it correctly. Okay, so now we will move on to our next. So there is a table. In the left hand side, it is given as Amrut, Swachh Bharat Mission, Hriday, and Smart Cities Mission. In the right hand column, there are heritage cities replacing JNNURM, smart meter and water quality projects, and waste management and sanitation. So the whatever the left hand things, those are there in the left hand column. They are basically government programs, and the items of the right hand columns are there relevant descriptions. So you have to match them. You can just keep one same, and you can just rearrange the PQRS and tell me which one will be the correct order. Yeah, Reja Ali, you are correct for the previous question. It was 20%. So if you are okay, you have given answer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Both have kept the left hand order same. Right hand order you are telling us QSPR. Both of you are telling us QSPR. QSPR. Okay. So Shondeep and Reja has answered. For the information, Daljit, I will tell that the full form of the Amrut is Atal Mission for Rejuvenation and Urban Transformation. JNNURM is the full form is Jawaharlal Nehru National Urban Renewal Mission, and Hriday means the National Heritage City Development and Augmentation Yojana. So can you say the correct answer? I think both Sondeep and Reja have given it correctly. We'll see. Uh, okay. So yeah, both of you have stated it correctly. Amrut is related. Amrut is basically replaced the previous scheme, that is JNNURM. Swachh Bharat Mission is something related with waste management and sanitation. It is very clear. Hriday, yeah, it is. Its full form itself. The item is there in the full form itself. And the Smart Cities Mission is related to smart meter and water quality projects. So if currently there is basically water billing is not done. We either draw the water from the underground, depleting the underground resources as we were discussing in our last class. If there is depending on the soil also, and also depending on the paved area, percentage of the paved area and unpaved area, the ground water recharge may vary. As more and more cities are coming, the more and more there is lesser possibility to for the groundwater to get recharged. So that's why government is there will someday come when the groundwater withdrawal it will be completely banned. Only you can draw water from water bodies like ponds, rivers, etc. And municipality can purify and supply that water, mm, which happens in cities that is located beside the rivers. So this thing will happen, and if that happens, then you will see if the municipality is purifying the water, it is using energy, right? So the water is not coming in free of cost. So mandatorily there should be meter to analyze which household is using what amount of water, and accordingly billing would be done. There are how the tariff is set. There are many methodologies. We will come into that in our subsequent discussions. So yeah, if the more cities are coming and if the cities are becoming smart, then for water management also there must be water quality projects and smart metering system. Smart metering system means just like your in my state there is the WBSETCL, West Bengal State Electricity Development Corporation Limited, and another one is CSC, Kakara Electricity Supply Corporation. What they do, people from those institutes they come into the household and they check the electricity meter, whatever the consumption is there. In smart city, what is meant by smart metering, both in water and both in and in electrical systems also. So whatever metering will be there, whatever your consumption, how household consumption is there in terms of water, electricity, whatever, that will be centralized. So it will be centrally monitored. The data will be directly it will be in a digital way. It will directly go to the office. Yeah, like that. So if it is wire going through the wire, then it is normal regular thing. And if it is not going through the wire, then actually Internet of Things is working in that place. So it is something where you transmit the data without the help of the wire. You use an Wi-Fi area network, and this sort of things happens. So yeah, but yeah, things is not that simple. It's complicated. So yeah, you have the answers is correct. Answers are correct. Now we'll move on to our next. Again, there is a
I have a question.
yeah. Go ahead.
So, basically, I am from Canada. So, I want to know about water quality. Which agency is responsible for providing water quality criteria uh, for the drinking water and wastewater? And is the water meter information is available online?
No, in India, water metering. I mean, water smart metering is a very. I mean, it has not yet started. वो तो बहुत दूर की बात है smart metering.
अच्छा
But
अच्छा
the but the water metering, it is being done in some places. If you just go to Paytm and see the how the billing things, billing agencies in some states, you will see there are water billing agencies are there. In Bangalore, I think, where the water is scarce, so their water billing is in some places the water billing is done. You are charged for the water. But yeah, in majority cases, major cities it is still not there. In Kolkata, water is still free. And in Bombay also there is plenty of water. There is no scarcity, so billing is not there. It depends basically. So, but yes, still it is in the formation stage regarding the billing. And regarding water quality, it depends on the usage of the water, where the water is being utilized. So let's say, as I told in my earlier classes also, let's say your your consumer of the water is your environment. When that happens, when you are throwing if the plant if you have a factory and every factory requires water, and let's say uh, the water that is coming out of the factory, it is not completely utilized. So if it is completely utilized, it is called as the ZLD, zero liquid discharge. But all the plants of India are not ZLD plants. So what happens, the water that comes out of the plant, that is thrown into the environment, maybe in a river, pond, whatever. And there is limit that you cannot go beyond this BOD level or whatever. I mean, the, the environment water quality has certain parameters, and after you have utilized that water in your plant, the parameters had got changed. Maybe there are some more pollutants in the water, so the parameters have got changed. Now, if you throw that directly into the environment might not have the capability to modify the humanly altered parameters of the water and bring back to its initial position. There are certain capabilities, but not all. So based on the environmental capabilities, see, let's say I am very much I mean randomly I am telling, let's say there is a BOD level, the water that is naturally flowing, let's say the BOD is 10. Now you 10 units, whatever. Now you just utilize that water, you made it to 20 after your utilization. Now you are going to throw back into the environment. What will happen? That the parameter will be parameter is altered now. Now nature has the capability to bring back, let's say 2 or 5 ppm of BOD. Let's say nature can modify like that units. So nature will modify if it is 12 or 15. Nature has the its own capability to its own bacteria will basically degrade the water, and it will degrade the pollutants that is present in the water because of the utilization in the plant. Okay, and it will bring back to its original position. But if it is 20, nature cannot bring it back. So what will happen? There are certain environmental agencies. In India, there is Central Pollution Control Board (CPCB), and also in states there are state pollution control boards. Like in Maharashtra, there is MIDC. I don't know if I forgot the full form of MIDC, Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation, I think. Yeah. So, and also in West Bengal, Maharashtra Pollution Control Board MPCB is there. In Gujarat, there is GPCB, Gujarat Pollution Control Board. In West Bengal, there is WBPCB, West Bengal Pollution Control Board. So, state government has got certain agency, and CPCB is there, Central Pollution Control Board. They actually monitor. I mean, whenever you are forming a project, then you have to analyze your entire water thing. There is ISO, I don't remember the number. So there are ISO standards.
14,000.
14,000.
40,000.
Yeah, water stewardship it is called, AW. There is one German organization, German standard also, AWR or something like.
American Water Wastewater Association,
Oh, American Water
AWWA.
Association. Yeah. Germany also it is some. I mean, I worked it long back when I was there in the industry. Actually, I studied those things. I forgot now what is the names. But yeah, every country has got certain standards, and sometimes what happens, good of Indian standards just copy paste from their standards without analyzing our requirement and all. But sometimes they analyze our requirement also, and based on all the standards, there are certification agencies who will certify your project that yes, whatever you are claiming that you will be doing this and this, it is approved. Now you submit, before submitting it to your funding agency, maybe a government loan or something, or maybe your investing agency, whatever. If it is a greenfield or brownfield project, based on that you have to take the approval from your Central Pollution Control Board or State Pollution Control Board. Then you have to submit the report. This is what happens. It happens to the Central Pollution Control Board. Whenever it is, whenever your plant is in running operation, it is commissioned and it is running, then at a regular interval, State Pollution Control Board comes and checks your water parameter whether it is right or not. And nowadays, what is happening? They have made the system online. So the whatever your data is there, so it will go to the State State Pollution Control Board in an online mode. And they are implementing these things phase by phase in a phase by phase manner. So yeah, so this is the process, or these are the organizations or agencies who monitor whenever environment is your consumer and humans plant from where the water is getting generated. Okay, so now if the human is the consumer and you are taking the water from the environment, then there are varieties of norms. So let's say who has WHO, that is World Health Organization, has got certain standard, which and in IS standards also, IS 5031, I guess, I forgot. So these are drinking water standards. So 541 or 5031, I don't forgot. Okay, so
ISO, I think.
no, ISO standard is there. I am telling about the Indian standard, IS. So it is
Okay.
there. IS Indian standard is a bit different about the drinking water standard, more or less same. But yeah, so if you are utilizing the water, human is consuming that water for drinking purposes, there are different norms. In who there is certain norm, in ISO there is a standard is there, in Indian standard is also there, 5031, I guess. And if the water is utilized for other purposes, let's say it is used as a boiler feed water, then there are certain hardness criteria, these and these should be maintained. There is other, I mean, based on your utilization, where you are utilizing that water, based on that there are water standards. Basically, in boiler, in industry, basically boiler water is used in the boiler. So in the boiler, what is the size of the boiler? Depending on that, the criteria of the water change gets changed. So this happens in the industry, and in your households also. If it is not drinking water and not industry water, you are just utilizing for household purposes, then also there are norms that these and these things should be maintained in the outlet of any municipal waste or municipal water treatment plant and all. Whenever municipality is drawing the water from natural water bodies like from ponds, rivers, etc. Yeah, so at their outlet, they have to maintain this quality, which that water will be supplied to the households and all. The chlorine content must be below this ppm level. These are things I don't remember the values what are there, but yes, it depends on the usage of the water, the agency changes, the standards changes, everything gets changed. So water is something like that. You cannot say generally this is should be the water. You cannot say every water should be a drinking quality water. You cannot use the drinking water for your industrial purposes. So it will be go waste, because drinking water requires very careful treatment as compared to other. You cannot even use distilled water, which doesn't contain any salt, just like RO water. RO water is just like distilled water. It contains very minimum amount of salt. But to pass the water through reverse osmosis, it requires very huge amount of energy. So you cannot, I mean, use the. I mean, you cannot put a RO plant for every purpose. The cost of the water will go high. Okay, and also you cannot use the RO water directly for drinking also. Many one of you are thinking maybe your house has got a RO, let's say RO treatment. The small thing is there, which is called aquaguard or something. So it has got certain RO thing inside, right? So if you look very carefully, you will see that whatever you are drinking, that is not directly coming from the RO unit. It is some stream from the ultrafiltration is bypassed into that RO to make the water mineral rich. Then you are drinking that water. If you are drinking uh, directly the distilled water, which is distilled water is equivalent to RO almost. So if you are directly drinking that, it is harmful to your health. It may cause you that osmosis thing I discussed in the last class. So yeah, because outer solution will be lighter and inner solution will be higher. So yes, swelling thing will happen. So in this way, your the channels of your digestive system, digestive tract, the alveoli or everything, those has I mean those your digestive tract had got there, that thing may get damaged. So you may get ulcer or something, I don't know. But yeah, it is harmful for health. So depending on the usage, totally the water, how we will treat the water, what will be the agency that will monitoring the water, and how what will be the standards of the water, and also the cost of the water. Everything gets changed based on the use. That's what I can say. Yeah. So now we'll okay, we'll discuss this this table, and then we'll take 5 minutes break again. Then again we will come back to after taking the bio break. So in the left hand column, these are the type of different treatments, and in the right hand column, their primary functions are given. So number one is preliminary treatment, then disinfection treatment, then primary treatment, then secondary treatment. And the right hand column, there are removal of pathogens, removal of suspended solids, removal of bigger sized particles, and removal of organics or biological oxygen demands, or BOD. If you don't know the BOD, what is BOD, then also it's fine. But if you know, very good. So you have to just, you can keep these as the same, and you can just tell me the order of the ABCD. Yeah. Okay. Doljit has already done it. 1 CABD. C preliminary is removal of BSI particle. I think it is true. Then A, removal of pathogens is disinfection. Yes, true. And then B, removal of suspended solids is by primary organic and BOD treatment. CDBA. CABD. I think D and A. You are. I think Reja and Doljit has answered it correctly. It will be CABD only. Sandeep has confused between D and A, right? So yes, you thought that removal of organics or biological organic matter, biological oxygen demand is disinfection. I will tell you one thing. Welcome, Shondhoria L. Okay, so we have covered almost 50% of the lecture. You can watch the recording. It will be available in the link, and I think you all have got the link already for the recordings. Okay. So now I'll just clarify this. Yes, it is a very common mistake one can do. So you see the difference between the pathogens and organic. So both are basically carbon based and organic thing. What is the difference between these two pathogens and organics? What is the difference between A and D? The organics or a BOD, whatever is there, that is just the dead organic matter. They cannot multiply, or it may so happen that the pathogens are included in it, but it cannot be separately treated by the secondary treatment. Okay, pathogens can multiply. I mean, they will consume the matter, they will consume the organic, inorganic matter, whatever, and they will multiply in number. So whatever they follow, that is essentially your monod growth kinetics, or other things are there. Other equations are also there. Basically, monod growth kinetics they follow. But the organics or BOD, they are just present. They are dead, mostly dead. Some patterns may be there, but they will not generally multiply. Okay. Disinfection is something. Infection. How infection, in the term infection means multiplication, not multiplication of good things. If bad things is getting multiplied in your system, that means you are getting infected. Infections means what? Which gets transmitted and multiplied, and they can transmit it in this way. It grows in number, right? So that's why pathogens grows in number. So that's why it is linked with the disinfection. Infection, the opposite thing is disinfection, which is used for the removal of pathogen. And secondary treatment is not that fine treatment like disinfection. So it can remove the organics or biological oxygen dependent matter that is present. Basically, the BOD is removed with the help of certain specific bacteria. In industrial sludge treatment plant is called STP or CO treatment plant. They use basically cow dung, bacteria from cow dung, and it actually, the specific bacteria is actually a range of bacteria is present inside the cow dung. So whenever it is used, these specific bacteria which are there in the range of bacterial stream, that is responsible for the treatment of that particular organics or particular BOD that is present inside the wastewater, they actually multiplies in number. So in this way, if you are introducing some cow dung or some sorts of bacteria into your stream, it will take some time for the system to come into the steady state and to start the treatment. So yeah, this is what happens in the case of secondary. So I hope the conclusion is clear for Sandeep. So why it is not DA, it is AD. A is linked with the disinfection and D is with the secondary. Yeah. But it is pretty common that people will make this mistake. They are seeing both the organic and they will just tell. Okay, so organic means disinfection. They will feel, but the organic contains dead organic material also, carbon. But pathogen means those particular organics who will multiply, who is alive basically, who is able to cause the disinfection, which is able to cause the infection. That's why disinfection is okay. So now it is what is the next thing? MSQ. Okay. So now we'll take 5 minutes break. Maybe it is 8:10. We'll join at 8:15. Sharply, we will take one bio break. You can also, I am here. You can ask me any question, or you can take a break and you can come sharply at 8:15. We'll again restart the session. For Soundhoria and Reja, you joined a bit later. So if you want to repeat the earlier things, I can also repeat. But otherwise, you can watch the recording also. Or if you have any question from the previous class or whatever we have discussed till now in this class, you can ask. Soundhoria, you were there in the last class or not? I don't remember. Soundhoria Lakshmi. Okay, okay. So it is your first class. Have you gone through the recording and those things? whenever you are coming for a, I will repeat again that thing. Whenever you are coming for attending the problem solving sessions, or you are unable to attend, you are watching the recording, whatever. In that case, what you will do, you will just do the assignment of the previous session. You are supposed to solve the assignment of the previous class by that time, previous week. You should have watched the lecture of till that week, lecture of Dr. Devapratim Pandit, and you should have watched the problem solving session of the last week. So the Dr. Devapratim Pandit's lectures must be, you should have watched of that week before attending the problem solving session of that week. Okay, and previously, whatever the problem solving session was there and whatever the assignments was there, that up to the previous week you should have done. That is the expectation for this course. But yeah, the classes are delivered in every week, and also problem solving sessions are delivered in every week in such a way that you don't need the knowledge of the previous week, even if you are attending it live. That's why we encourage you to attend live. So it will be an independent thing. So you don't, in most of the cases, you don't require the knowledge of the previous class. But yes, if you are watching, it will feel like a continuity thing. It will be good. So now let's see what Dolji has written. You download the oh, download the recordings. No. Download the recording. You cannot download. I mean, we are not supposed to share the videos. But I mean, whatever the link I told you at the, I'll share that two links in the chat box. Just wait. Yeah. Hmm. So here are the links. This is the link for recording. Okay. But recording means you cannot download it. You will get the YouTube link in the recording. I'll also share my YouTube channel link where I am uploading those things. And link for Twitter. Yeah, this is the link where the slides are uploaded. You can download the slides that I am just displaying here, but you cannot what you cannot download the video. Yeah, maybe there are certain methodologies with which you can download the YouTube video. There are 10 youtube.com. When we are in the school level, we used to use those websites to download YouTube videos. There are certain things you can do that, but yeah, we don't directly provide you the video. We just upload it into the YouTube and we just share the YouTube link. So in my case, I am uploading into my channel. The other TA who is taking the session in the Tuesday, he or she will upload in his or her channel. The link is very slow. It is not opening. Yeah. Ah, yes. It is there now. So this is my YouTube channel link. I'll provide in the chat box. Copy link. This is my YouTube channel link. You can just go there. Or in my whatever the previous courses I have taken, those are also there. Those are also water-based course, basically last 2 semesters. Okay, so it is time now. We can again restart the session. So it will start with the multiple select question or MSQ. Okay, so you have to select the pathogens that or those can effectively be removed by a typical sand filter. It's an MSQ, so multiple options may or may not be correct. Option A viruses, option B protozoa, option C worms, option D bacteria. You can see in our previous class, question we saw that primary treatment, preliminary treatment, and secondary treatment, right? But in pathogen removal, they are calling it as a disinfection. So depending on what is the pathogen that is present inside the water, your preliminary treatment can act as a disinfection step. Your primary treatment can act as a disinfection step. Your secondary treatment can act as a disinfection step. Or it may so happen you have to entirely install a new unit operation to use it as a disinfectant. Okay, so it entirely depends on the pathogen that is present inside the water. As you can see in this case, sand filter is basically what it comes in the preliminary primary side. It's not a very secondary thing. So it filters out only the large particles that is present inside the water. So if the pathogen size is not very large, it is not very small, it is large, then sand filter, which is basically a preliminary treatment or primary treatment like that, so that can also be utilized as a disinfectant, right? If there is no other smaller size pathogen present inside the water. So yeah, Sandeep is telling us worms. Worms are basically definitely it's a big pathogen, so it will be removed by sand filter. Any other thing do you think that only worms or uh, other can also be removed? What do you think? Lisa is telling us option A, viruses, protozoa. Yeah. Okay, so I'll tell the answer. So it is, yeah, I think protozoa and worms, these two only. So the bacteria, I'll say, I'll tell. So the thing is that bacteria and viruses, I mean, do you know the range of the size, their size? So I'll tell one thing regarding the size aspect. Okay. So you know the meter, you know how much meter means this much amount of length, you have an idea. So now there are certain terminologies in the metric system. If you know that kilo hectodecameter, this is centimillimeter, you know those things. If kilo means 10 to the power 3, kilo hectodeca means 10 to the power 2, 10 to the power 1. Deci means 10 to the power minus 1, centimeter 10 to the power minus 2, and milli means 10 to the minus 3. Okay. So I am talking here about smaller things. So if you go at millimeter, there are even smaller thing that is called as a micrometer. The term micro means 10 to the power minus 6. So 1 meter divided by, there are 6 zeros at the side of 1. So that becomes 1 micrometer, or in short 1 micron. If it is around 10 to the power minus 7 or 8, it comes in the ultra range. This should be the size. Okay. If it is 10 to the power minus 9, 9 means nano. So if it is 10 to the power minus 9, if it is associated with whatever, if it is associated with second, it will become a nanosecond. If it is associated with meter, it will become a nanometer. If it is associated with gram, mass, it will become a nanogram. Okay. So if it is 10 to the minus 9 means nano. 10 to the minus 10 means angstrom. In length term, it is called as angstrom. In mass terms or in time terminology, it has no specific terms. In length terms, it is called angstrom. If 10 to the power minus 12, it is called as pico. If it is meter, it is picometer. If it is second, it is picosecond, like that. If it is 10 to the minus 15, it is called as femto. Okay, up to 10 to the power minus 25, we have scientific instruments to measure things. Beyond 10 to the power 25, we cannot measure things, but there is certain range up to which smaller range up to which the mathematics works. Mathematics and physical formulas are valid. There is a range that is called 10 to the power minus 35 or 36. It is called as a Planck subatomic scale. Up to this 10 to the minus 35 or 36 meter, mathematics is valid, physics holds, physical laws holds. If the things are even smaller than that, normal Newtonian idea of our world actually breaks down there. Quantum things, quantum weirdness starts there. But yes, that is not in our syllabus. Our syllabus is up to the measurement capability only, which is up to the nano this scale. Okay, 10 to the minus 10, if it is smaller than the pico level, it becomes the RO, reverse osmosis, those things. Sand filters, those gap is at the microns. If there is sand and there is interparticle gaps, intra, you know the difference, I think. So there is interparticle gaps, that is at the micron level. So the protozoas and worms, they are bigger in size. They are at the milli size, milli and micro or ultra. In this range, they are not ultra. Milli and this level they vary. 10 to the power minus 3 to 10 to the minus 6. Within this range they vary. So that's why sand filters, they are able to separate those things. They will not pass through the sand filter. But bacteria, you have to use a microscope to view that bacteria. Micro means 10 to the minus 6. It is smaller than the sand filter range. They will pass through it. So you have to put a microfiltration or ultrafiltration membrane to jam the bacteria passage. Okay. And the virus is even smaller than that. If you remember your class 10 biology subject, there was a thing called as microphage. Microphage, macrophage. There is a virus called as phage virus, which is, or PHAs, phage virus, some people spell it like that way, which is used for the altering of genetic material of bacteria itself. So that virus is even smaller than the bacteria, maybe at angstrom level, but that is even smaller. So that will easily pass through the. So Reja was telling us virus. So virus, bacteria, they are at the nanoscale, angstrom scale. They will easily pass through the sand filtration. Okay, so to arrest a bacteria, even your microfiltration or ultrafiltration will not work. You have to put a nanofiltration or RO membrane depending on the type of virus that is present inside the water. So yeah, you can understand that yeah, if only the protozoan worms present, those are bigger in size. They can be arrested uh, by sand filtration or maybe microfiltration. But if this is virus and bacteria, more finer treatment methodologies and they are should be there. Preliminary treatment cannot act as a disinfectant. Hope it is clear. The picture is, you can picturize the thing, then it will be easier for you to understand. Yeah. So now we'll move on to our next next MCQ, multiple choice question. So one option is correct. Which one of the followings isn't the basis for a fixed charge based water supply tariff system? Option A is ARV, that is annual rental value. Option B is tap based charge. Option C is increasing block price based charge, and option D is schedule based charge. Which one of them do you feel isn't the basis for a fixed charge based water supply tariff system? Option B, tap based charge. Rajali telling Doljit and Sundip. Two people left, I think. Yeah, their name is not visible now. Sundip is telling ARB and Doljit. Okay, I'll tell the answer. So it is increasing block price based charge, not tab based charge. So option A, B, both are not correct. Why I'll tell. Basically, the term itself gives you the answer. Fixed charge base means whatever you are using, you are giving charge based on that. This is called a fixed charge rate. The charge is not varying with your consumption. Okay. So if you see the taxation system, just they have announced the tax. Dr. Nirmala Sitharaman, who is the finance minister, he has announced the tax. So tax, how it is done? If your income is more, you have to pay more tax. You have there are tax slabs out there. If your income is less, you have to pay less tax. Similarly, in water also, if you are like just like the electricity, if you are using more and more higher electricity, you have to pay the rates of the electricity are very high. Under which slab your utilization is. If your water usage is very low, then you have to pay less. I mean, the rate of the water price that will be very less. If it is your utilizing water in a very large amount, then what will happen? Your tariff will increase. In this way, that happens. Okay, so the term itself says increased block price. Block means in finance term there is tax slabs, and in water terms they are telling it as a block. So if your usage comes under this block, uh, below certain value, if your monthly consumption is, you have to pay less price. If your monthly consumption is beyond certain value, depending on also how many people are there in the family, sometimes they change that criteria accordingly per head. Sometimes they do per household basis, depending on where the metering is. If the metering is in, I mean, 1 meter for your entire locality, then it becomes very difficult. And also for sometimes what happens, there is a flat, so where to put the meter. So it's a very complicated things actually. Based on that, actually they changes the tariff system. In India, mostly the tariff system is not there because water is available for free. But yes, slowly it is coming. It will be charged for water. And you see the increasing block price. The other thing, annual rental value tap based means whatever you are utilizing, that based on that only you are charged. So whether you are utilizing more, utilizing less, both have to pay the same charge. So the rich people will definitely use more and more water. Okay. So all the other three things are basically fixed charge based, but increasing block price is based on your utilization. If you utilize more, you have to pay more. You utilize less, you have to pay less. So it is not a fixed charge based. Yeah, option C is the correct answer. I hope it is clear. So now we'll move on to it is basically a true false statement. Or statement one is given as total coliforms are possible indicator of chemical contamination, and statement 2 is germ theory states that certain diseases are caused by the invasion of the body by microorganisms. Those are too small to be seen except through microscope. You have to identify which one of the following statement is correct, or both are correct, or both are wrong. Coliform means, just I told earlier, colony forming units. So if there is stagnancy within the water, what will happen? The bacteria virus will actually grow in that stagnant region. In this way, the water becomes water. That's why disinfection or sanitation, these things are important. Yeah. One wrong, two, I think you have studied it correctly. So the explanation is as follows. Total coliforms are a possible indicator of fecal contamination. Hence, statement 1 is incorrect and statement 2 is correct. So I'll move on to our this two is just a theory. By definition, it is correct. Nothing else. Nothing to understand here. But if you are seeing that there is fecal contamination, there is total coliform, the biological thing is coming. It is basically an indication of biological contamination, not chemical contamination. Okay, so definitely statement 1 is wrong. Right. Okay. So now MCQ, multiple choice question. Which one of the following is the cost of the creation of a sinking fund for additional investments in the near future? Option A is interest cost. Option B is operational cost. Option C is depreciation cost or depreciation in short. Option D is life cycle cost. Reja is telling us option C, life cycle cost. Hey, sorry, depreciation you are telling. Yeah, Daljit and Sandeep. You have to keep this thing in mind. The cost of the creation of a sinking fund for additional investment in the future. Because you see, money value increases with time. So whatever is the value of 1 rupee now, it will be lesser in the future. That means the cost will increase, the money value will increase. It's just like entropy. As entropy increases with time, similarly money value also increases with time. So generally, whatever fund you have kept for now, for future, the I mean mathematically the fund will remain the same, but the value of the fund will basically sink. Okay, so you have to create additional investment to make the value at the same level in the future. So what is the cost of the if that is sometimes called as the total capitalized cost or something like that. So that cost you evaluate for your future, that this thing will happen in the future, and I am for that reason, if I have to invest now, what will be the amount which will taken care of that depreciation in the future? It is not I don't remember, but let's see what is the answer. Life cycle cost is the answer, because you see the let's say you will run your plant. Let's say you have a water treatment plant. You will run your plant for certain period of time, and the I mean it will become a second hand material, right? If you sell the equipments of your plant to some agency or vendor or whatever, they will not give you the initial cost of that equipment. Okay, so basically over time, if you use the thing, this is true for electronic item also. Only gold the value increases, but all the other cases, the over time, the more you use, it gets depreciated. Uh, the efficiency or the value of the equipment gets depreciated. Okay. Depreciated means if you sell that equipment after 10 years, the value that you got initially, that will be lesser. Okay. But if you buy that same equipment fresh from the market at that period of time, the value will be more. So you can see there is a difference. The difference is more and more increasing in terms of cost of that equipment, also in terms of selling value of your equipment, also it is getting decreased. Okay, so the difference is increasing. So there comes at a certain time when when you have to scrap that equipment, you cannot use it anymore for your plant. So in this that time, whenever you are scrapping that equipment to your scrap yard or scrap collection agencies, they will buy your equipment at a very minimal cost, that is called as the salvage value. Sometimes even salvage value becomes zero. Sometimes it happens. So if you just subtract that salvage value from the cost of that equipment that is present at that time, you will then get the difference. So if you are investing now, thinking about that difference in the future, what will be but because if you invest now, your money will also gain certain interests. Okay, and it will also go in number. So if you just invest at that period of time, whatever value you have to pay, if you just before 10 years, if you just consider that thing, so the amount that you have to invest now, it will be less. So when I mean the period for which you will get the interest, that period is nothing but the life of the equipment, right? Again, you will purchase another new equipment. It will, the cycle will go on. Same thing. That equipment will again depreciate like the this is called as the life cycle of the equipment. So that's why the cost is life cycle cost. Depreciation cost is different. Depreciation cost is the difference between the initial value you bought the system and the salvage value that you are with which you are selling your used equipment. Okay, that difference is your depreciation cost, the value with which the equipment has depreciated. But the additional investment that you have to do initially, so that is taking care of the entire life cycle of the equipment. Whatever the depreciation, that is all taking care of the depreciation costs also, and also that is taking care of the difference of buying that new equipment at whenever you are scrapping your old one. Okay, I guess it is clear. So why it is called as the life cycle cost? Operational cost and interest cost, nobody of you have given answer. So it is pretty common. So it will not be, because operational cost, maintenance cost means what? Your equipment, it is, you are running your equipment. It is depreciating year by year, but you are preventing the rate of depreciation in some way. So it is your basically maintenance cost or operational cost. And interest cost means, I mean, it is not directly linked with your equipment. It is just the rate with which the money value is increasing. Okay. So I hope why it is not depreciation cost, that is clear at least. Yeah. Sandeep has answered it correctly. It is life cycle. Okay. So now we'll, if you have any doubt, you can still ask. Otherwise, we will move on to our next question, which is a multiple select question. Select the correct statements regarding acceptable. Yes. So some of you, one of you asked one question about drinking water standards. So who has some guidelines, and this is the Indian standard. IS, I told something as 500 or something. It's 10500. This is the Indian standard for drinking water. Okay. So what is the correct statement based on the 2012 version of the drinking water? So you can see the standard parameter here. In this question, you will be able to see that what is the scenario for drinking water in terms of acceptable limits. Of option A, pH range is 6.5 to 8.5, TDS is less than equals to 700 milligram per liter, C total hardness is less than equals to 200 milligram per liter, and nitrates is less than equals to 55 milligram per liter. If you know what these things means, pH, TDS, total hardness, nitrates, I think you know. Even if you don't know, I will tell you. pH is the minus log value of the concentration of hydrogen plus ions that is present inside the water. So it is your, it's a indication of the acidity of the water. TDS is total dissolved solids, the solids that you cannot see in your open eye. It has the molecules of that solids. I'll tell you one thing. So in water science, one thing is very important, that is called as the uh, what is your dissolved thing, what is suspended thing, and what is undissolved completely. So I told you earlier that uh, the nano, micro, milli, what does they mean? I told you earlier, right? So if the particle size is in between 10 to the power minus 5 to 10 to the power minus 7, basically 10 to the power minus 7 to 10 to the power minus 5 meter, you can approximately say around the 10 to the power minus 6, that is the micron level. That means the colloid, it is basically your colloid region. In this region, the particle will neither get completely dissolved nor it will completely precipitate down or get separated out of the water. It will be in suspended, it will be in a transition state. This is called as a colloidal region or suspension region. Just so in around the micro, so you can assume that the bacteria that is present inside the water, they are in this region, okay, in a micron region. If it is more than 10 to the power 5 size, generally what happens, the particles doesn't get dissolved. But different things happen in case of salts and sugar crystals. They break down into the smaller particle. The smallest molecule size of sugar and salt, it is less than 10 to the power minus 7. 1 by 10. There is 10, 7 zeros. I hope you understand what 10 to the minus 7 meter means. So if it is at the ultra range, lower than the ultra range, so that means the particle size, based on that particle size, it enters into the intermolecular gap of water. It dissolves completely. If it is the range is more than 10 to the power minus 5, that is in the milli range or bigger than that, it doesn't get dissolved. Okay, just like your worms or they are also particles. Even assume them as a particle, so they don't get dissolved. Okay, so TDS means total dissolved solids. The salts, those have their the molecular size is more less than 10 to the minus 7 meter, and that's why they get dissolved. Just like sodium chloride, our normal common table salts, they get dissolved in the water. Or may sugar, C6, C11H20, C12H22O11 something, yeah, sucrose. So that gets dissolved. So these are dissolvable. There are total solids, TS. TS you can divide into two parts. Total suspended solids, TSS, and TDS is total dissolved solids. So the suspension dissolution, this term, I think if it is clear to you, it will be easier to understand. Total hardness means the presence of bivalent salts like calcium carbonate, calcium chloride, those things presence. These are thing. And nitrates means nitrates, nitrogen compounds, nitrogenous compounds like ammonia, nitrous oxide, etc. Whatever form it in whatever form it is present in the water. Nitrous means there will be nitrogen component inside the. Uh, so there are many ways how to determine the nitrogen. There are total TKN, there are total gel-done nitrogens, there are total nitrogens, TN, many ways to determine the nitrogen. Though I am not going into the details out of syllabus, I think. So yeah, so this is the digging. Yeah, Reja, you can ask.
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Yeah.
So, as you said, so, so solids are within within
Generally,
the gap of
generally, it's not a very hard and fast thing. Sometimes lesser than 10 to the minus 7 also you will find it getting precipitated. Sometimes you find 10 to the power. It depends on the interaction also, intermolecular interaction also. I am just gave you a rough idea here. Yeah.
So for intermolecular gap of in the water, there are water molecules and intermolecular gap. So once the solid is in between the intermolecular gap, so it becomes total dissolved. It becomes dissolved solid. So what happens if the molecular gap is filled with the solids? Then more solids come, so it will be dissolved or it will settle down.
Very good question. So there is a saturation. There is something called as a saturation limit. Okay. So you see, there are uncountable number of molecules inside water, definitely, but the uncountable doesn't mean infinite. There are finite amounts of molecules, finite but uncountable number of molecules inside the water. You take a glass of water, so there are definite number of intermolecular gaps, definitely. So once they become saturated, and again you add further solids, it will not get dissolved. Very good question. So that will get precipitated. That means in terms of solubility of salt, sugar, whatever, the solvent, which is water in our case, has achieved its saturation level. Okay, and also let me tell you one thing. This is called as the solubility. Now, the solubility may get increase with temperature, increase or decrease depending on the interaction of heat energy with the water molecule. What happens generally, if you heat it, the molecular gap will increase, letting more and more particles to come into the intermolecular space. In this way, if you heat something, the solubility increases. That happens in a sweetmeat shop. So they heat the water and they add more and more sugar. In this way, it becomes supersaturated. Sticky material is formed. Okay. Sodium thiosulfate, it is a compound with which super solubility can easily be achieved. But if you lower down the temperature, what will happen? There will come at a certain stage, whichever solids that has already been dissolved, they will come out of the water and they will start forming nucleus of the crystals. This process is called as nucleation step of crystallization. Okay, so in case of sugar industry or sometimes in older salt industries, now they are using membranes, but sometimes thermal processes are also used. So they use crystallization process. How? They just evaporate the solvent, which is water in our case, more and more by applying heat. What will happen if the solvent quantity lessens? It becomes supersaturated, hypersaturated, like that way. And then if you just lower down the temperature, this solubility, based on the solubility gets decreased, and the sugar or whatever that is in the water, if you just imagine you are concentrating the juice of juice that you have got from the sugar cane. So there will come at a certain temperature when the crystal formation will start. In this way, the sugar formation is start. So yes, definitely there is a limit up to which it can get saturated. But whatever the limit we are discussing here, these limits are far less than that. It is saturation is very high. So if you let's say if you are using hardness at the saturation level, so you just pour that water into your burtan, that means your utensils, you keep it for 1 or 2 days, you will see a thick white layer has formed inside the inside your utensil. Why? Because naturally there are two things called as evaporation and boiling. So boiling means both are vaporization. Yeah, vaporization has two types: evaporation and boiling. Evaporation occurs at any temperature, boiling occurs at the saturation level. That means at the boiling temperature. Because if you are keeping the water, you are not boiling it, but naturally because of the evaporation, water will go out. And same thing which happens in industries within 1 or 2 hours, same thing will happen
in
in
water.
your case in 1 or 2 days. Yeah. So the white solids that will come out of the water and that will get deposited at the inner side of your intestine. Yeah. In this way things happens. Now time we have got very less time to complete. So now we'll hope this is clear. Okay, we can raise hand. Ask question, not
Yes. Yes. So, sorry, I'm taking your time.
no.
So, for the hardness means the presence of salt in water. So,
Hmm.
200 milligram per liter means less than or equal to 200 milligram per liter means so salt should be less than or equal to 200 milligram in a liter of water. Am I correct?
Only yes, you are correct. This is only for uh, bivalent salts. I mean, monovalent salts like sodium chloride, they don't cause. What is monovalent and bivalent? If you tell me to explain, it will take. I mean, if you tell me to explain again, I will explain. No issues about that. But no, I'm not telling you. If you don't know, you ask me. I will tell. So if monovalent salts like sodium chloride, they don't form hardness. They are just dissolved in water. But bivalent salts like calcium and all, they actually they actually forms the hardness thing. Okay, hardness means calcium salts or magnesium salts. They are bivalent salts. Sodium chloride, potassium chloride, they are monovalent salts. So not all the total hardness doesn't mean the all the solid particles. A specific type of solid particles which causes the hardness thing. Hardness means if you keep that water in your utensil, thick white layer of calcium or whatever that will form inside here. That calcium will get deposited basically. Yeah. TDS means something. I mean, TDS is a something. It is a total dissolved solid. So the hardness is within that. So hardness is a subset of the TDS. You may think it like that. Subset, you know, this is statistical terminology. So now I'll move on to your answer. I move on to the. So as per the IS standard, so only option A and option C are correct. Option B is not correct. Option D is not correct. So pH range is 6.5 to 8.5. That means around 7. So whatever the water you are drinking, that should not be too acidic or too basic. It should be your neutral in terms of acidity, and the hardness must be less than or equal to 200 milligram per liter. But the TDS and nitrate value, which the benchmark value that has been given here, that is not correct. Okay. Reja, if you have any further question, you can ask. No issues. I'll take a bit 5 minutes more, maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, it's clear. Yeah, you can ask any number of questions. This is what the interactive session is for. Very any type of question you can ask. I mean, it is not guaranteed that I will know everything. I may not. I may say something wrong also. You check some internet and you come back to here and you tell, sorry, you are wrong in that last class. You just tell frankly, no issues. You will be learning experience for me also. If we don't know, we will just tell you that we don't know that. We are noting down and later in the class we will clarify. Yeah, so you should ask. You are highly encouraged to ask questions. Yeah. So now next is the fill in the blanks. So dashed tariff model for water supply in India is designed to avoid burdening some of the specific customer groups, unlike dashed tariff model. So there are two dashes, two tariff models. One is designed to avoid burdening some specific customer groups and another one is not. So you have to choose these two options from the following options. Option A is NRW non-revenue based. Option B is direct subsidized based tariff model. Option C is willingness to pay based. Option D is cross subsidy based tariff model. Option C is capital based tariff model. So you can indicate is one option this, two option this, like that, or you can indicate in your chat box. I'll give you 1 more minute, not more than that. B and E, Sandeep is saying. B in which? Second option or first one? Is E in which? One or two? I mean, there are two blanks, right? So B you put in which place? E you put in which place? That I'm asking. Rajal is also must be an. I think one of their answers are correct, one is wrong. Both of your one B, two E. One, I think you have told it correctly. Two, I don't think it is correct. So two is basically your cross subsidy based. Direct subsidy based means, yeah, it is designed to avoid for burdening some of the specific customer groups. So that's why you are providing direct subsidy. But that doesn't mean that you are not subsidizing the others. Maybe subsidizing for some other reasons. If you provide subsidy to the industry, it will industry actually generates employment also. It benefits the shareholders, but it also benefits the your company employees also. So there may be certain subsidy based. It should not be always capital based. Okay, so cross subsidies are provided there. May or may not be. I mean, it may be based on cost subsidy model, or it may not be cost subsidy model. But yeah, capital based it will not be there. And if you want to, mainly the marginal section of the society, as you have correctly identified. So they will use the direct subsidy based method to direct subsidy based method to set the tariff such that way they are not burdened in terms of paying water bills and all. Though water bill itself is a alien concept in India, it's slowly gaining popularity, but yeah, however it is done, it is based on this. So now next is true false statement. Statement one is what is the time now? 3 minutes are there. Should we continue? Okay, let's see. So statement one is mass transport in advection is along the direction of lateral to fluid flow. And statement two is in diffusion, mass transport is more apparent in the direction of the flow. You have to identify which of the following statement is or correct. So that I will tell. Mass transport mean what? You let's say you take a bucket of water. I'll just tell you the. I mean, you can tell me the answer, but I'll start explaining. So if you take a bucket of water, you just add a drop of let's say anything, but let's say for your visual sake, you just added a drop of ink, and the ink gradually spreads throughout the water, and some in the initial time it is only in one place. Then again, gradually it spreads, and again, if it is blue, your water becomes bluish. If it is red, your water becomes red. It's like that. So the ink particles are getting transferred through the water in its entire region, right? So this thing is basically your mass transport. You can imagine this thing as a mass transport. Now, if the fluid is flowing, you have injected a drop of ink just to test how the ink behaves. If it is not ink, if it is something invisible to you, so how it will behave inside the water through the fluid flow inside the pipeline. So study that thing. The mass transport is done. So does it occur in the direction of the fluid flow, or if the fluid is happening in their direction, it is occurring at the perpendicular direction? There is a question. So in case of advection, I'll just tell you the answer. It's all of time. So whatever, yeah. So if you see fluid is flowing inside the pipe in certain direction, the diffusion will occur at the perpendicular direction of the fluid flow. Okay. So option statement 2 is more apparent. Statement 2 is false here. Yes, right. So if you see the direction of the fluid flow is in the x direction, positive x direction, that is right direction, but diffusion is occurring at the perpendicular direction. But what the statement is telling is diffusion occurs in the direction of the fluid flow, which is basically wrong, right? And the other thing is that advection occurs your mass transfer advection. We actually discussed these things, what is diffusion and advection, in our last classes. So this occurs here in the party. I mean, advection is a more general term. It is not like that. It is different from the diffusion. Diffusion comes under the advection. When we saw that your in case of heating fluid particles, we saw in the last class that it will either there will be a conductive term or there will be a convective term. So if you take them together, becomes advection. In case of mass transport also, if there is there is a basically bulk diffusion, and there is another thing, but yes, we will not go into those details. So basically, diffusion is a particular type of advection. So none of them actually is apparent at the direction of the fluid. Okay, so both the option statement that they have stated here is basically incorrect, because if you take a, if you along the direction of the fluid flow, if you take a particular direction at the starting, and if you take a sample from the ending, you will see that at the end, the if you are studying it in terms of the ink, it has been more homogenized at a later stage as compared to the initial stage. So advection occurs in the this direction also, because there are both conducting and diffusive term involved. But in case of diffusion, it will only occur in the direction of the direction that is perpendicular to the direction of the flow. So hope from the picture it is clear. So now we will the next thing we'll discuss in the later class. So, are is the slideshow just it has been ended, I think. What happened? Okay. So Reja, you have raised a question, you can ask. Otherwise, we will end the session here. Yeah.
Yeah, so I have a question. So, uh, is this not depends upon the mass of the particle being injected and the mass of the fluid flowing?
Yes, dependent on that. Actually, if you see the mass transport formula, you will see not mass transport. You see any general. I told you about the transport phenomena in my earlier class. I will now show you some transport equations based on which you can determine. So in a basic any kind of flow, if you see, so in my chemical engineering thing, we measure two things. One is flux and another one is rate. Rate means amount of flow that is happening based on whatever mass or whatever per unit time. And if you again divide by rate with the help of area, rate by area becomes flux. Flux equals to rate by area. Rate equals to amount of flow divided per unit time. And what are the parameters with which the rate depends? Be it a mass transfer rate, be it a fluid transfer rate, or be it a energy transfer rate, whatever. Rate depends on driving force divided by resistance. Okay, this is your rate, generalized universal rate equation. Now, in any type of rates, there in the numerator there is the driving force, in the denominator there is the resistance. The diffusive coefficient, the advective coefficient, the conductive coefficient, or whatever these coefficients, they contribute into the resistance term. And the numerator, the driving force, as you told, in case of mass transfer, the amount of mass that is we have injected of the fluid or of the particle, whatever, that comes into the numerator portion. So yes, they definitely contributes in the rate of mass transfer. They positively contribute, I would rather say. If the transfer
Thank you, sir.
the resistance will less, but yes, they will also positively contribute. But this is easier to understand, because rate means driving force divided by your resistance. So the amount of the fluid, what is driving force basically? If you see this picture, if you have injected the liquid here, there is a liquid is less here. So the driving force will be the concentration of liquid in this region minus the concentration of the liquid in this region. The difference, the gradient of the concentration between these two regions, that is what drives the flow. If you are considering the fluid flow, the pressure difference is the driving force. The pressure in this region and the pressure is this region. That difference is the driving force. Okay. So if you have injected more fluid in this portion, or if you are injected more ink in this region, the subtract, if you just subtract the concentration here from here to here, if you just subtract, that value will be more, the gradient will be more, there will be more rate. That's all. Simple. The driving force will be more, that's why there will be more skills. That's all.
So basically, driving force is the energy, is the
In case of
energy
energy
of
transfer,
engine moving.
in case of energy transfer, that temperature is difference is basically your the driving force. Temperature difference is nothing but the energy difference only. Temperature in certain region, if it is high than the temperature in the other region, that means the this region is more energized than the other region. So the gradient is the temperature difference. Okay, and that is the indication of the energy difference only. If it is the fluid flow case, it is difference of the your momentum or pressure, whatever. Because pressure is momentum only. Pressure into if you just do the dimensional analysis, ml by t, that is your momentum, and pressure means your force per unit area. And force means what? Ml by t into L, ml square by t, that becomes your force, right? Yeah, I guess
Okay.
I forgot. So I mean, if you do the dimensional analysis, you will see that there within that pressure component there will be the momentum component. So change rate of momentum kind of thing that gives you the pressure. So there is contribution of momentum in the pressure. So momentum difference comes in case of fluid flow. In case of mass flow, the concentration difference. Concentration means what? Mass per unit volume. So that is the concentration. The concentration difference is indication of mass difference only. So if it is there, there will be more mass flow. Driving force depends on what kind of flow you are studying. In our water case, it is mass, yes, as it is water supply and all. But if you are, I don't know if there is certain things regarding the pumps and valves. I don't know. Is it in your syllabus? I will not check the syllabus. Later, if it comes, if the supply for the supply aspects, if the pump design and everything, if those things come, we will discuss. And if it is not there in the syllabus, just know for sure in general terminology. This is the case. I mean, if you're not still not able to answer, you can ask. No issues. Whether it is clear?
Thank you, sir. Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
So now we can see the thing is that driving. You just imagine in an abstract term. Something is there, some higher thing is there, maybe in terms of energy something, and here some lower thing is there. So that difference is the gradient which actually your catalyzes the flow. Yeah. But if the difference is less, the difference maybe difference. How can you increase the difference? You can either increase it or you can either decrease this. In this way, you can increase the difference, and that difference may be anything depending on what kind of system you are studying. What is the flow? So, but if you are studying a particular thing like the pressure difference, like the flow rate or mass transfer rate, the terms of the terminology changes. How you are putting that formula, everything, those things changes. But universally, it is basically the same. Rate means uh, driving force divided by the resistance. If you take the electrical systems, it will be your potential difference divided by the resistance. V by R gives you the rate of flow of electric current, which is nothing but the I. Right? We already studied in the plus 10th level. So it is same in that case. I means what? dq by dt, rate of charge flow per unit time. That is your I. This is the rate. And if you divide it with the cross-sectional area, which is perpendicular in the direction of the flow, that becomes your flux. So rate by perpendicular area, rate divided by the area that is perpendicular to the direction of the flow, that gives you the flux. This is in general universal thing. In any kind of system you are studying, it may be a magnetic flux or something, some exotic thing, maybe that anything. Yeah. So hope it is clear. So whatever the specific syntax of those things, that depends on the system. So we can end this session here. I think if anybody else has any question, you can ask. Otherwise, the recording and stop the recording. I think. Yeah.
So, sir, in the end, I want to include add that Bernoulli equation is used for calculating energy, like whether it's energy due to gravitation or supplied by the pump.
Fluid
That's
flow.
that's
So
good.
Bernoulli, whatever
Yeah,
the
fluid. That's correct.
for fluid flow, you can use the Bernoulli equation. Not for temperature, not for energy flow. You cannot use that. If it is fluid flow, because fluid flow doesn't occur because of temperature difference. Fluid flow occurs because of momentum or pressure difference. And the terminologies, those are there in the Bernoulli's equation. P by rho g plus v square by 2g plus z. That remains constant. It is the conservation of mechanical energy. Mechanical energy means the head difference you do, there is nothing but your pressure difference, pressure or momentum. Yeah. So depending on the system, the syntax of the formula changes. That's all. So you can end the session here. I think I'll stop the recording.